So I wanted to spend a few moments and touch on two concepts from this section. I'm not sure if both concepts were mentioned in this section. I know we definitely talked about VLOOKUP, and I wanted to throw in there HLOOKUP. They are so similar that it would be a disservice not to talk about both of them. So basically what you use either of these two functions for is to use Excel to return a number based upon a value that needs to be looked up from somewhere else. So what you see on my screen is a worksheet where I have the total sales or purchases. I believe these are total purchases made by individuals, once again using my family. And with those purchases I assign status. So if you are any kind of shopper like I am, depending on how much you spend, sometimes you get perks or you get benefits. So in column K, based upon your status, which is based upon how much you spend, based upon your status, you can get a discount. And then in column L, based upon your status, you will pay varying rates for shipping. So what we are going to do with this is I am going to first use our status and look up our status in this table at the bottom to return our discount amount. So with this section, we are going to use VLOOKUP. The only real difference between VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP is what we have here in the discount section. This is a vertical table, VLOOKUP. HLOOKUP, which is what we have here for shipping rates, this is a horizontal table. So that would be the difference between the H and the V. When you are looking to create VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, you can start to type in the cell. And once you become very comfortable with it, you can use these little guides to follow along. However, as I've said in some of your comments in the discussion board, or some of my comments in your posts on the discussion boards, when you're just getting used to functions, especially something a little more complex like VLOOKUP, I encourage you to use the insert function box. It's just going to help you build your formula by giving you guidelines until you actually are able to sort of make it seem real to you. So I've already used this function, so I'm going to double click VLOOKUP. So when this box opens, there are several things that this formula looks for. So the very first thing that it's looking for is the lookup value. So this is, what do you want Excel to look for somewhere else? So in this case, I want Excel to look up status. So the lookup value is going to be the cell that has the status in it. Next is table array. When Excel is asking for a table array, it is asking you for the table where the answer can be found. In this case, I didn't want that. In this case, it is going to be my discount table. And this will tell Excel the lookup value will be looked up in this table array. So the next thing you have to put into this is the column number. And what that is telling Excel is, so it's going to be looking up information in this table, which column has the answer it needs to return. So in this case, it's going to be column 2, because in column 1 is where it will find the lookup value. So then the answer to match will be found in column 2. And then the very last thing is the range lookup. This range lookup can be considered optional. I have typically always used it. So what you are going to put here will be a logical value, which will be either true or false. So if you put true in, it allows Excel to look for an approximate value. However, in this case, I am going to put in false, because I want Excel to find the exact value. So it is looking exactly for the word in the lookup value in this table. So I'm going to click OK. So when we go back to my formula, you will see my lookup formula is here, and you will see that it returned a 20% discount, which when you look at my table, a gold customer does get 20% discount. This is a small sample, so it may not seem so relevant to go through all this work, but when you have a huge amount of data, you can use this to look up information that is housed somewhere else to return this. Now with lookup values, you can make them relative and you can copy them. However, one thing that you need to do, when you copy it, you always want Excel to refer to this table array. So this range of cells that refers to this table, you always want Excel to refer to those. So I am going to click between the E and the 19 and press F4, and between the F and the 23 and press F4, and that will make that table array absolute. So I'm going to press enter. It did not change this number. However, when I copy it down, it now has changed this lookup value relative to whichever row I happen to be in, but it has kept this table array consistent. And you will see that it changed the discount percentages according to the status of the customer. The second thing we are going to do here is use an HLOOKUP. The only difference between the two of these is we will be using a horizontal table. So once again, I'm going to encourage you to use the insert function box, and I haven't used this recently, so I have to type it in. I'm going to click HLOOKUP. I'm running out of room on my screen. So lookup value, once again, I am basing this upon status, so this is going to be the lookup value. Table array, I am going to select the table that I'm going to use, and to save time, I'm going to go into the middle of this range name, and I'm going to make them absolute now since I'm going to have to do it later anyway. Our row number works the same way. So obviously this first row has labels, so I'm going to be looking in the second row. And because once again we are looking for an absolute name, for range lookup, I'm going to put in false. And then I click OK. So now based upon this table, if you are a gold customer, you are going to pay $2 for your shipping. And when I copy that down, because I used an absolute value for my table, you will see my platinum customers are not paying any shipping. To me, I think VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP are probably my two favorite things to do. I'm not exactly sure why. I just find them so fun, which is kind of nerdy, I guess. But take some time to practice this. I am going to share with you this worksheet that I have in front of you in Canvas so that you can practice. I'll take the answers out to give you a little additional practice, and let me know if you have any questions.